Here on the Wicked Boston Show, Rogue Media Sports Network, your host, Cam Stuart here. Zach Burke is behind the glass, keeping us on the air 5 days a week live on YouTube, and then wherever you get your podcasts as well. Today, we are reacting to, of course, the Patriots going to the AFC Championship Game after a thrilling 28-16 win over the Houston Texans. We will have Mike Debate of Sports Illustrated always joining us on Mondays after Patriots games to recap what has been a heck of a ride so far. Long may it continue. We'll talk about what went right in the game yesterday, and we'll take a look ahead at the Denver Broncos sans Bo Nix. Our pal Jarrett Stidham back in the picture, and he is the only one keeping the Patriots from Super Bowl 60 in Drake Maye's second year. These Pats are now one win away from the Super Bowl. Can that sink in for a minute here? And that's how I'm going to start the show, is they are one win away from being way, way, way ahead of schedule and going to the Super Bowl. And people are going to discredit this game left, right, and center. I'm already seeing it. Like, people are still saying, like, oh, Patriots, easiest road ever. Like, you can't even win playoff games these days without jackwagons on Twitter and jackwagons on sports networks talking about how you haven't done enough, or you haven't done it the right way, or you haven't done it like against this guy or against this guy, so it doesn't matter. It's so funny. And here the Patriots are. They just keep winning. Has it been flawless? No. Has Drake Maye been flawless? No. Been pretty dang good at some parts of the game, which we'll talk about later on in the show. But it just goes to show that this team, and they've shown you this specifically the last 2 weeks, this team can win any way you want them to win. Any way. We talked all week. I talked about it all week. How scary this Texans defense is. And you know what? This Texans defense played pretty well. They forced the ball out a lot. Like, Will Anderson had a really good game. And the Patriots still won. Of course this team can win the whole thing. Absolutely they can win the whole thing. And it's not just because Jarrett Stidham is at quarterback. I would have liked their chances against Denver with Bo Nix at quarterback. I truly, truly would have. But now, which we'll talk about throughout the week, now, for the first time all season, you are in a position where you've got to win. Like, the pressure is on you, not house money stuff. The pressure is really on you at this point. But while we're talking about this Houston game, if I could just bring up the 4 letters, the worldwide leader in sports. Oh, no. Oh, no. Really? Everyone picked the Houston Texans. I don't know if this was a clerical error. I know Zach Burke picked the Texans. He's not happy about this, taking this victory lap. Zach's been working really hard behind the scenes. It almost feels, I feel bad about dancing on his grave a little bit, but look at this. All of them picking the Texans. The only thing that surprised me about this game is that we got to 44 points. But I'm not surprised that there were a bunch of turnovers in this game. Wasn't surprised about that. Not surprised about the Patriots winning, and really surprised by the Patriots winning by more than one score. Really not that stunned by it. But the way we got there was really interesting. Obviously, I mean, the only time I was mad during this game in the stadium was when I hit my hand on an empty seat next to me because Drake Maye fumbled for the 4th freaking time. And I'm just saying, hold on to the ball and you win the game fairly easily. But other than that, it really didn't feel like this game was in doubt at any point, even when the Texans had a lead early in the ball game. And then the Marcus Jones pick 6 comes, and that's really the turning point. Patriots never relinquished the lead after that. And these people are just getting hit with endless tweets this morning. Everyone, Marcus, Orlovsky, Hannah, Ryan Clark, Mina Kimes, all living to regret this. I'm sorry. Like, we talked about it all week. I clearly had some respect for the Texans. I can't believe that an entire panel of people who talk about the NFL for a living all picked the Texans. Like, I couldn't believe it. And the reason why is C.J. Stroud. That was supposed to be an anomaly last week, and he went one better after the 5 fumbles against Pittsburgh and a pick, which they only lost 2 of those fumbles. He got even worse the next week. 4 picks in the first half. God, C.J. Stroud is my favorite quarterback in the league. I love facing that guy. 4 picks in the first half. The first 2 for Carlton Davis of his Patriots career. And the other reason why I'm surprised they all picked Houston is because it's time to put some respect on this Patriots defense, man. So yeah, CJ Stroud was some ass, okay? I just, like, every time he threw a pick, I'm sitting there in the stands like, this guy's so bad. But part of it is the Patriots make you look bad. Justin Herbert looked awful the week before, and he was an MVP kind of quarterback during this season. You know, and CJ Stroud's not great, but he's not that bad. He is not what he just showed you on Sunday. And that's because the Patriots defense has been absolutely suffocating. How about this? Through the first 2 playoff games, quarterbacks against the New England Patriots, 39-78. That's exactly 50%. With 313 net passing yards in 2 games. 2 of them to get to 313 yards. 1 touchdown, 4 interceptions. Their only touchdown drive against in this postseason was that 27-yard drive after a fumble yesterday. The opponent passer rating against the Patriots in these 2 postseason games, 43.4. 43. That is horrendous. Like, horrendously bad. That's what this defense is doing to teams. And of course, what you'll hear is, oh, Justin Herbert sucks and they have no O-line. Oh, well, CJ Stroud sucks. And, that's what you're going to hear. But if you watch these games, you have to sit there and say, my God, nobody can move the ball against this team. Nobody can score against this team. Short fields, and they still lost by 2 scores. They're the first team since the 2006 Colts, which is surprising, by the way. But if you remember those games, I guess it's not that surprising. First team since the 2006 Colts to allow just 1 touchdown in their first 2 playoff games. Remember, one of those games was 15-6. I remember there was no touchdowns against Baltimore back 20 years ago. And it's not like the running game has been much better against the Patriots than the quarterbacks have been. 22 rushes for 48 yards for the Texans yesterday. The Patriots have given up 135 rushing yards in not 1, but 2 games total. They forced 5 turnovers in the game yesterday, 4 interceptions from C.J. Stroud, and a pretty crucial Woody Marks fumble in the red zone when it was 21-16 after Drake Maye had fumbled. Was it perfect? No. But this defensive performance, was it good enough to win playoff games? Hell yeah. And it might just be good enough to get you to the Super Bowl, which is just an unbelievable thing to think about and to say out loud for this 2025 season. You know, thinking back to what the expectations were going in, that they are 1 win away from the damn Super Bowl. And it's this defense that's getting you there. Not that Drake Maye's been horrible. He's been fast and loose with the football, which we'll talk about later. But this reminded me so much of the 2003 AFC Championship game. It looked very similar. They were going up against C.J. Stroud rather than Peyton Manning, and that is a little different. But it was that snow flurry, bad conditions, wasn't as much of a blowout as the scoreboard indicated, or excuse me, the other way around. Like that 24-14 against the Colts, it felt like a lot more. This 28-16 felt like obviously a lot more. But just suffocating a team and playing field position and saying, go down there and beat us, drive the length of the field. You can't do it. That's exactly what it felt like yesterday. And now they are one Jarrett Stidham led team away from going to Santa Clara for Super Bowl 60. In your wildest dreams, I don't think you could have predicted that for this season as a Patriots fan, but here they are. So what went right in the game yesterday, and what do you have to look forward to against our old pal, Jarrett Stidham and the Denver Broncos? That's a question for Mike Debate. He's our next guest, Sports Illustrated. We will have him on after this very short break on the Wicked Boston Show.
Welcome to Kit Bag, the ultimate destination for football fans. Whether you're cheering for Arsenal, Chelsea, Manchester United, or any other top club, for true football passion, think Kit Bag. Visit kitbag.com today. That's KITBAG.com. Kit Bag.
Our professionals are not only experts in managing urgent concerns, but also in providing top-notch preventative health care. We're proud to connect pet owners to a vast network of licensed veterinary professionals, ready to address any immediate concerns. Book your first appointment today.
At Mitzi, we believe the right light can transform any space. Mitzi has the perfect design for you. Beautiful, well-made lighting without the high price tag. Discover your perfect light at Mitzi.com. That's MITZI.com. Mitzi. Streamline event and appointment booking with Amelia's sleek, modern, and fully customizable booking forms. WPAmelia.com. That's WPAMELIA.com. Amelia.
Everybody at Equalife really has a passion and a real interest in helping people feel well. How much further can we go to get you feeling even better? It is a complete partnership between the two of us.
At Tusane's, we understand that maintaining a healthy lifestyle can be challenging, especially in today's fast-paced world. That's why our mission is to make fitness accessible to everyone, anywhere. Visit Tusanes.com today and start your journey to better health. That's TOUSAINS.com.
Back here on the Wicked Boston Show, Rogue Media Sports Network, live on YouTube, 1 p.m. Eastern Time, and then available wherever you get your podcasts as well. It's your lunchtime alternative to Boston Sports Talk Radio. It's right here on the Wicked Boston Show. Against all odds, against what anybody thought this Patriots team was capable of at the beginning of the season, the New England Patriots are one win away from the Super Bowl. They take down the Houston Texans in the snow flurries yesterday. We bring on Mike Debate of Sports Illustrated, trying to put this all into perspective. It's basically been Mike's task every week when we bring him on here. And I can't open again with, can you believe this? Because we don't. We can't believe this. We're living in this great dream right now. But, Mike, it's interesting in that I thought the Patriots would win this game. I thought the Patriots would win this game by more than one score. But I didn't quite see 28-16 coming and what, 8 or 9 total turnovers coming. I think it was 8 total turnovers in the game. What did you take from this game as a Patriots fan? Or someone, for us, the Patriots fan, as you covers the Patriots.
Yeah. Well, it's kind of one and the same, but that'll be our secret, right? Basically, when you look at what the Patriots did yesterday, they took a tough punch from the Houston Texans defense. Let's face it. I mean, for as much woes as they had on the offensive side of the football, that is a team that is aggressive. They can get after you, and they can make life miserable for you in a hurry. But what the Patriots did was adjust to what the Texans do well and give it back to them, especially on the scoring drives. I like to call it haymaker for haymaker or punch for punch, or maybe channeling their any Rocky Balboa and just saying that, you know what? We're going to win deep down. We can win with finesse. We can win like Apollo Creed. We can give you that finesse and win with pure skill, but we can also get down in the trenches with you and knock you out when we least expect it. The drive that keeps coming back to me when it comes to what the Patriots did, and I think it's really a microcosm for this entire game, was the first touchdown drive where he hit Demario Douglas. The Texans sent so much pressure in that drive, and it left single coverage, and it allowed Demario to get that extra step on Kalen Bullock. And the one knock that I outlined in my I don't want to say, I guess the best way to put it is my predictions piece before the game. They really weren't predictions, but they were just things to watch for, is that this Texans defense, especially the secondary, they can bite a little bit over aggressively if they sense an extra step coming from the defender. Demario took advantage of that. I thought faked it very well and then took off and got that extra step on Kalen Bullock. And of course, Drake Maye hits him in stride. This to me is exactly what the Patriots needed to do. Take that aggression that you knew Houston was going to come in with and try to throw it back in their face a little bit. When they had success, they did that. Now, unfortunately, they couldn't do it in the entire game. There was, I believe 6 3-and-outs at one point that the New England Patriots put on the board. So I don't want to make it seem like they dismantled or took apart this Texans defense. Far from it. But they made timely plays when they needed to. And then when they needed the big guns, they call out Kayshon Boutte for the one-armed grab. That's going to be, I think, the highlight of the playoffs so far. So bottom line, the Patriots took the Texans' best punch and they put it back to them. I think that should instill Pats fans with some degree of confidence heading into the AFC Championship game that they can take an opponent's best shot and still be standing at the end.
Yeah, I think that's the big thing that is almost kind of getting lost in the commentary, is that like the Texans defense did play well. Will Anderson played very well. He gave you exactly kind of what you thought. Danielle Hunter as well. And if I had told you before the game, hey, Drake Maye's going to put the ball on the ground 4 times and throw a pick, a Hail Mary before the half. I mean, whatever. But let's just say that. We're going to put the ball on the ground 4 times and have a pick. You'd be like, dang, it was a good season. We're getting ready for baseball here. The season's over. And it didn't. You did take the best shot of the best defense in the league, and you won the game. And there's only been one quarterback who's thrown 3 touchdowns against the Texans in one game this year, and that is now Drake Maye. He's the only one. Let's look ahead. We got Mike Debate here of Sports Illustrated breaking down the Patriots win over Houston. We're going to look ahead in a few minutes, but I got to talk about a guy you just mentioned, a guy you wrote about today. I think this game was such a highlight for 2 guys in particular that didn't get enough attention for the Patriots this year outside of New England. One was Marcus Jones, who has been excellent all year, has the pick 6, has another crucial 4-point play where he bats down a 3rd down in the red zone that ends up being a field goal. But the other guy is Kayshon Boutte. And he has been just everything you could have asked for this year. And, he was the one who had the bulletin board material this week when asked, if it's easy to prepare for the Texans. He said, yeah, because they line up the same way. It's tough to beat them, but it's easy to prepare for. And he has that same play on Derek Stingley, just like Drake Maye's first touchdown pass. One of the great catches I've ever seen in a Patriots game. Talk about Kayshon Boutte, man. What does he mean for this team?
Well, what it means is that anytime Drake Maye wants to dial up the play action against a too high safety, he can do it. I mean, Kayshon is the guy to go to. And look, he made a tremendous move. And I'm not taking anything away from Drake's pass, which was phenomenal, by the way. But just to be able to drop it in where only the receiver could get it, and for Kayshon to be able to haul it in the way that he did, not only shows his determination on the play, but it shows the skill set that everybody saw in his freshman year at LSU. When we spoke to Kayshon earlier today, he says, I really don't feel like there are a whole lot of people that know what I'm capable of. And if you go back to that freshman type footage from LSU, you'll see it. Before the ankle injury, this kid was being heralded as the next great LSU receiver, up with names like Odell Beckham Jr. and Justin Jefferson and Jamar Chase. And I mean, these are guys that are bona fide stars in this league. All right, Odell Beckham now is retired, but those 2 guys, 2 of the best in the league right now, you absolutely have to say that Kayshon Boutte has the potential. I'm not saying to be in that league, but the potential to be the Patriots' next breakout star. And the adversity that he's overcome throughout his entire career, whether it be the ankle injury that he had, difficulty in coming back from it at LSU, had an awful combine, performance. And then, of course, the off-the-field issues with gambling that he really poured his heart out in the recent Players Tribune article. everything that he's done has built himself back up to where he is right now. I could not be happier for Kayshawn, and I could not be more proud of the work that he's done as a Patriots fan and as someone who covers the team, to watch this journey from him being selected sixth in the sixth round after being essentially touted as a first-round pick for so many years. For him to get the opportunities he's getting, he's maximizing them. He's becoming one of Drake's favorite receivers, not just because of his prowess on the field, but his determination, his hard work to make sure that he's there when the ball is thrown. Cannot say enough good about Kayshawn and the work that he's doing right now. Only continue to wish him the best. And the Patriots got themselves a keeper here.
Yeah, because, we talked about during the season, your receiver room, the only difference is Stephon Diggs. And obviously Diggs makes a big difference. But I think that would be selling Kayshawn Boutte short. Like, you got a really good Kayshawn by the end of the season last year, last month of the season. He really developed the chemistry with Drake Maye. But you've gotten a better Kayshawn Boutte this season. And that's a huge reason why, Drake Maye is up for the MVP, why he's the best deep ball thrower in the league, and why a big reason why the Patriots are one win away from the Super Bowl. Let's talk about Drake Maye before we get into the defense, which is going to be the more fun part of this. But it was frustrating at times for Drake. It's a guy who had put the ball on the ground a couple of times last week, put it on the ground 4 times this week, but makes the plays, has a stellar second half, just like he did against the Chargers. What has been your takeaway from Drake Maye in this game and his first 2 playoff games of his career?
Yeah, I think a lot of what we're seeing from Drake is early career jitters. I mean, I think a lot of people have to remember this was his first full season at the helm in New England, and these are his first 2 playoff games. For all of the talk that athletes are able to put that aside and it doesn't get to them and they block it out, the great ones eventually do, but there are times where it does get to you, even to the greatest of all time. And Tom Brady will tell you that there were times when the moment felt too big for him. Drake is going through that right now, and I think a lot of fans have to remember that before we start getting on him for ball security issues. I do want to see them cleaned up. I don't think there's anybody out there that doesn't want to. Drake could be the first. If he were sitting here talking with us right now, that'd be the first thing he'd bring up. I got to play better. And those were his first words, or close to it, when the media spoke with him last night after the game was over. He knows what he has to do. Mike Vrabel knows what he has to do. Josh McDaniels also knows what he has to do to get better. But I think you have to factor in the weather to that as well from yesterday. Those were harsh conditions for a quarterback to play through. And I think there's a level of comfort that Drake has when he's able to pick his spots, when he has his moments, and when he gets optimal protection from his offensive line, which, again, is something that needs to be adjusted and needs to be improved. We're dealing with 2 games now where the offensive line didn't necessarily provide Drake with everything he needed. So all of those have to come together in order for Drake Maye to still perform. But once again, he made the plays when he needs to. So, yes, go back to the drawing board, try to improve on what you need to, be diligent about that, make a concerted effort to be much better in this AFC Championship game this week against the Broncos than you have been in the previous 2 playoff matchups. But take the foot off the accelerator a little bit if you're going to hop on this kid. I think we're all looking at the MVP candidate we saw all season long, and I think it's incumbent upon us to remember that he's still growing as a quarterback in this league. He hasn't even reached his peak yet, which is a scary thought if you're an opposing defense.
And it's the same thought you can give to a guy like Will Campbell at left tackle, who has had back-to-back tough weeks, tough in terms of assignments as well, but brutal kind of results here. So we're talking about a guy who's obviously a rookie still and is playing through an injury, an MCL injury, that he's still, I'm sure he'll have some off-season surgery or something, and he's probably just not 100% there after being out for a couple of weeks. So what has been your thoughts on Will Campbell? And do we need to talk about, another defense this next week in Denver that can really get after the quarterback, led the league in sacks? Are we talking about seeing Vidarian Lowe at left tackle, who filled in pretty admirably for Will Campbell in December?
Well, it's always going to be a consideration, especially because of the time of year in which we're playing. If this were the regular season, I would say no. He's going to let his top, first round pick play, and he's going to let him play through it and see what he's got. You got to be very cautious at this time of year. You got to be careful to make sure that you're making decisions that are in the best interest of the football team. Mike Vrabel's going to do that. Now, does that mean benching Will Campbell and bringing in Vidarian Lowe to take some pressure off, your guess is as good as mine on that. I don't think the Patriots have reached that level yet, but nobody sees what we see, what those Patriots coaches see in practice. At this point, it's going to be really telltale about how he's practicing, what we're hearing from the Patriots in terms of how he looks and how he's rebounding from his performance on the field. Attitude's not a problem with this kid. He wants to win. He wants to be the best at what he does. And he's very resilient in being able to shake off some of the mistakes he's made and then come back at it and wipe the slate clean and be able to move forward. He's going to have to do that as better or the best he's ever done it this week because, like you said, this Broncos team will get after the quarterback. It's going to be another very tough assignment. So what I'm looking for from Will Campbell is aggression right off the bat. I'm looking for him to not take his eyes off of his target, make sure he remembers who he's matched up against, and try to win those one-on-one battles because that's where a confidence can get shaken in game if they're losing battles consistently on the edge. He's got to win those, and he's going to make sure to establish his place as the Patriots starting left tackle and Drake's blindside protector. If he can do that, you'll see that line follow suit. If not, you're going to see continued struggles, and then it wouldn't surprise me to see someone like Vidarian Lowe come in and try to quell the storm.
I think it's funny, people are talking about the quarterbacks the Patriots face on the road to the Super Bowl. And if you look at Will Campbell, he goes from Khalil Mack to Will Anderson Jr. to Nick Bonito in 3 weeks. Like that's a gauntlet. And obviously the Patriots will face 3 top 10 defenses to get there. And that's, but that's not good enough for the national media, Mike. You know that. They're not talking about that on ESPN today. They're just talking about how Jarrett Stidham is waiting for them. And I do want to talk about Stidham in a minute, but let's talk about this defense because I'm thinking that maybe they're going to start to get their due here. This is a team that was a top 10 defense basically all year. And there were some ebbs and flows to it. When Milton Williams was out, that was a different looking defense. It didn't look quite as sharp. That included the second Buffalo game, if I'm not mistaken, the game that they lost. And so that becomes a huge point. When Christian Gonzalez and Milton Williams are in there, the Patriots are undefeated this year.
16-0.
It's unbelievable, man. Like they're that good when those two guys are playing, and you have seen historic stuff through the first 2 weeks of the postseason. I guess I'll frame it this way. Is this defense good enough to win the Super Bowl?
Yes, they are. And I think they showed that yesterday. Look, I know a lot of the national hype and the national narrative is going to be around how poorly C.J. Stroud played. And if you look at that first half, that was historically poor quarterback play from C.J. Stroud. I mean, you can't really sugarcoat it. I happen to have an awful lot of respect and an awful lot of a personal like for C.J. I want to see him do well, and I think he is one of the better quarterbacks in the league when he gets his time and the O-line in front of him is blocking, and he's getting what he needs to be able to complete passes. But if you throw pressure at him and you continue to blitz him at a high rate, you're going to force him into turnovers. And the Patriots offense kept saying that all week long. We need to do our part to make sure the Patriots defense kept saying that all week long. We need to do our part to make him look mortal, to make him look human. Patriots did that in spades yesterday, and they really did that above and beyond when Stroud was struggling. 46.2 blitz rate yesterday for the Patriots. That is really intense. Yeah. And you could see that. You could see with 4 of his 6 turnover-worthy plays were as a result of the blitz and the pressure that it brings. 8 of 23 for 89 yards and 2 interceptions when the Patriots blitzed C.J. Stroud. So that was a very clear message that we can look at what your quarterback does not do well, and we're going to make him pay for it. That is the mark of an all-time defense. And I'm not saying that this defense is going to get a nickname anytime soon, or they'll be remembered with, the Purple People Eaters or the Steel Curtain or, the Chicago Bears.
The Sack Exchange.
Sack Exchange. Love that. The 86 Bears. The 86 Bears were the only ones that didn't need one. You just say 86 Bears, and that's just fearsome. But bottom line, when you look at what this team has done and the strength of this defense, they should be getting a lot more credit than they have been. I hope they get it this week, but something tells me that the narrative is still going to be, it was against the Stroud, team that struggled, and now they got Stidham waiting in the wings. I assure you that's not going to be as easy as people think it is going to be either. We'll get to him in just a minute, but a lot of credit to that front seven and a lot of credit to that defensive backfield who zeroed in and locked down when they needed to. Thought Gonzalez was excellent yesterday. Craig Woodson continues to play at an extremely high level. And you mentioned Marcus Jones with the pick six, setting the tone and taking the momentum completely away. That defense deserves all the credit they get.
Yeah, because a lot of this is like, don't overthink it. It was, bring in the blitz a lot, bring in a ton of pressure, because you can trust your guys out on an island. You can trust all of them on an island. When you don't have Nico Collins and you know what I mean? I get it. There were some injuries on the Texans side of things, but when you're down to that, you can trust all these guys on an island here. And that is a huge, huge luxury for a defense to have. So Patriots now travel to Denver, the AFC Championship game. They will not be facing Bo Nix. It took me a while, Mike, to realize it was not a joke. It was not a prank, but that, yes, Jarrett Stidham is going to be starting for the Denver Broncos in the AFC Championship. This is a guy, former Patriot. First time the Patriots have ever faced a guy in the AFC Championship game who had college classes with me, 2 of them to be exact. And he hasn't thrown a pass in 2 years, Mike. So you said don't underestimate him. What can Jarrett Stidham do to hurt the Patriots?
Well, from what I remember, when we saw him as a rookie coming in from Auburn, he's got a cannon for an arm. This guy can get it downfield. If the New England Patriots are not prepared to defend the deep pass this week, Jarrett Stidham can make them pay for it. And I believe that's going to be something Sean Payton is going to look at. He's going to look at what he did here in New England under Josh McDaniels, and he's going to try to use that to his advantage. Now, where the Patriots could have the upper hand, and where I believe they will have the upper hand here, is the knock on Jarrett when he was here is that he did not necessarily pick up what the opposing defense was doing quick enough to be able to neutralize it, rid himself of the ball, and make smart decisions with it moving forward. It was one of the reasons why Bill Belichick looked at the 2019 team after Tom Brady took his talents down to Tampa Bay and said, I think we need a little more firepower down here. He brings in Cam Newton. So at the time, the Patriots were almost looking at Stidham as being the next man up. I can remember doing podcasts and writing articles about the Stidham stump and everybody needing to hit it because he was your guy. He was going to be the guy in that season. So there is starter level talent without any question for Jarrett. We've seen him do it in Denver. We've seen him do it before we've seen him in New England, and we've obviously seen him do it in Las Vegas that 1 year under Josh McDaniels. So there is prowess to be able to do that. But if the Patriots play the way they did yesterday, and that front seven is getting after the quarterback and showing aggression, and the corners, especially the corners, what I loved what they did yesterday against Stroud is they played the sides. They didn't necessarily put themselves in lockstep with their, Texans counterparts. If they can do that against the Broncos wideouts, play the sides and take away the perimeter, they're going to make this afternoon a very long one for Jarrett Stidham in Mile High. So it's going to be incumbent upon the Patriots game plan to take away what they need to. But if they go in not necessarily respecting or thinking they're just getting a lesser version of what Bo Nix does, I think they're going to be surprised because Jarrett Stidham has a little bit of a different skill set that he can utilize to his advantage. Pat's got to be ready for that, and that's going to be on Josh to fill them in.
Yeah, that is such an interesting part of this is obviously Josh McDaniels isn't coaching up the defense, but he knows exactly what their quarterback does well. And that's why it's going to be kind of a great matching of wits because Sean Payton is a damn good coach. I know there's been a lot thrown out about his playoff record and what he does to teams in the playoffs, but it's a two damn good offensive minds who know about this quarterback who can figure it out. I think is fascinating here. Mike, before we let you go, obviously Patriots on SI, that's where we're finding all your work. I know you've already looked into the Broncos and have done some more Jarrett Stidham and you're leaning on your experience covering Jarrett Stidham. As we talk on Monday, okay, what do you think could be the deciding factor of this game 6 days from now between these two stout AFC teams?
Well, you mentioned one of the names earlier, and that's Nick Bonito, and of course Patrick Surtain on the secondary. Those two guys are going to be worth the watch. They're going to have my sharp eye coming up this Sunday, and whether or not the Patriots offense can neutralize what Denver does well on the defensive side of the ball, it's going to be incumbent on Drake to take care of the football, it's going to be incumbent upon all of the Patriots to take care of the football. That means Travion, that means Ramondre when they carry it. That means that you're going to need to have sure-hand receivers. I think Hunter Henry's going to play a big role in this game, because if there's one area where the Broncos can yield a little bit, tight ends have had some success. I think you could see both him and Hooper get some targets. But bottom line, it's going to be up to Drake to be able to up his game, improve his performance, and show that he's capable of taking his team and leading them to the promised land. They're going to need to beat that Denver defense at the best maybe it's been all season long. Those guys know that they need to pick up the slack for their fallen quarterback, their starter that really led them there all season long in Bo Nix. They're going to be rallied, they're going to be ready, and they're going to be hungry to show what they can do. The Patriots have to not only be ready to counteract it, but something they've done against the Chargers and the Texans now. Take your best shot and throw it back in your face. That, to me, is going to be the deciding factor this Sunday.
Oh, it's going to be a lot of fun. Drake Maye and Mike Vrabel can do something this Sunday that Tom Brady and Bill Belichick never did. They were 0-3 in the postseason in Denver. Mike Vrabel, Drake Maye get their first bite at the apple. Our Mike is Mike Debate. Mike, appreciate you taking the time, as always, and looking forward to having the chance to speak again after a Patriots game this season.
Absolutely. You're getting a little bit of a sleep-deprived Mike today, so I apologize for not being as sharp as I usually am, folks. But bottom line, we are ready, we are hyped, and we are all set for a great matchup and the Patriots' 16th AFC Championship game in franchise history. Who would have thought that last year when we were talking about Mike Vrabel taking the reins here, and now he's got this team one win away from a Super Bowl berth. Incredible. Enjoy the ride, Pats fans. It's going to be a fun one.
Oh, it's been awesome, and we always appreciate you coming on, Mike. We will look forward to talking to you next week. I mean, man, talking about Mike Vrabel, the longest tenured coach in the AFC East all of a sudden, 372 days at the helm. Man, this is going to be so much fun next week. Can't wait to talk to Mike some more about it, because I know he's going to be crunching that tape. This week. Let us know what you guys think about Stidham, Patriots defense, Drake Maye through 2 postseason games. Let me know in the comments section below. Be sure to like the video, subscribe to the channel. We come at you live on YouTube every weekday, 1 p.m. Eastern time, and then wherever you get your podcasts as well. All the good stuff about Boston Sports Talk Radio, but without the BS of today's Boston Sports Talk Radio, right here on the Wicked Boston Show with Cam Stewart. When we come back, let's ask ourselves a question and try to answer it. Has Drake Maye been bad through the first 2 postseason games? Let's tackle that question next on the Wicked Boston Show.
Experience the perfect blend of exquisite craftsmanship and life-changing technology with Gevi. Every product is built with precision, featuring specialized parts that ensure durability, efficiency, and safety. Upgrade your everyday with Gevi. Visit us at gevi.com to discover more.
A journey into new thoughts, new cultures, new adventures. So what are you waiting for? Start your journey with Babbel now. Go to babbel.com or download the app.
Overwhelmed by your inbox? Clean Email is here to help. Organize, clean, and manage your emails with powerful automation tools. Say goodbye to spam and clutter and enjoy a stress-free inbox. Try Clean Email today at cleanemail.com.
Better sleep, inspired by nature. Your back, hips, and shoulders will fall into perfect alignment in any position, meaning that you get deeper, more comfortable rest. Visit ecoterrabeds.com.
Is your Mac running slow? Mac Booster 8 is your all-in-one solution to clean up 20 types of junk files. Get your Mac running like new again with Mac Booster 8. Visit macboost.net today.
Tervis is all about staying hydrated. Each product is built to last and comes in endless designs to match your personality. Stay refreshed and express yourself with Tervis. Visit tervis.com today and find your perfect tumbler.
The U-Like Air 3, launched in 2023, ushers in a new era of sapphire ice cooling technology, offering nearly painless hair reduction in just 3 weeks. That's ULIKE.com. U-Like.
Welcome back. Wicked Boston Show here on the Rogue Media Sports Network. Your host, Cam Stewart, Zach Burke behind the glass, keeping us on the air. Live on YouTube, y'all, 5 days a week, 1 p.m. Eastern time, and then wherever you get your podcasts as well. Let's talk some more Patriots as they advance the AFC Championship game. That's going to be most of the talk this week, but specifically let's talk about their MVP candidate, Drake Maye, shall we? Drake Maye has sucked in the playoffs. He can't lead this team, not to a Super Bowl, and they're just getting lucky. That's it, man. I mean, watch it. Look how many times he put the ball on the ground. This is your MVP. That's what the national media is saying, that Drake Maye's not good in these playoffs and that he's been lucky to get here. And honestly, I know, you can see the background behind me. You can see the hat I'm wearing. You know what team I'm rooting for. But I think it's a lot more nuanced than how people are viewing it. I know, crazy that in the sports world in 2026, there's actually maybe some more nuance than the people at ESPN or on Twitter are talking about with Drake Maye. Because here's the thing. We can't hype up the defenses he's playing all week. We can't talk about how great they are and how they're going to give Drake Maye hell. And then when he isn't spotless, we can't then say, oh, Drake Maye just stinks. He gets carried by this defense. In fact, I even saw some people arguing that if C.J. Stroud had this defense, the Texans would have won. The Texans have the number 1 defense. Statistically not as good as the Patriots. So this is where you're losing me here. Am I going to say that Drake Maye has been spotless? No. In fact, I was at the game. I almost broke my hand punching an empty seat after he put the ball on the ground for the 4th time and had 3 fumbles in the game last week. And of course, I think only one of them was recovered in that game last week. 2 of them were recovered by the Texans in the game this week. So has it been spotless? No, it is not. And his accuracy numbers have gone down. His yards per attempt went down in this game. They were actually up in the Chargers game. And that's what we call the playoffs. This is a kid in his 2nd year in the league, first full year as a starter, playing in his first 2 playoff games against 2 top 10 defenses, one of which is the number 1 defense in football in some sort of inclement weather, although I don't like using that excuse. And still, the passer rating isn't 100, but it's 93. He's thrown for 230 yards per game, 225. He's thrown 4 touchdowns to 2 picks. And he became the only quarterback this year, the whole year, to throw 3 touchdown passes against the Houston Texans. There's only one of those. It's Drake Maye. And in the second half of these games, he has been absolutely lights out. Against the Chargers, he was 11 of 14 in the second half, threw his only touchdown pass in the second half of that game. And just yesterday was pretty dang good in the second half. How about this one? This is from Boston Sports Info. Great account on X, by the way. Not many of those. This is one. In 2 career playoff games in the second half, 17 of 22, 77% completion percentage, 235 yards, 2 touchdowns, no picks, passer rating of 141 in the second half of these games. So yeah, you can talk about, you do need to talk about the whole game. And both those games in the first half, he wasn't very good. Wasn't great anyway. It was just okay, pedestrian, not very good. But in the second half, when the money's on the table in the playoffs, he has been excellent. Excellent, man. And that touchdown pass to Kayshon Boutte, when your offense wasn't moving the ball very much, that touchdown pass to Kayshon Boutte puts the game on ice. That and not trying to play hero ball in the second half like he tried in the first half, and running the ball down their throat in the 4th quarter when the whole stadium knows that they're going to run the ball and kill off 5-6 minutes of clock. That is something that takes some maturity for a guy like Drake Maye. And he did it. And he got the car in the garage. More than that, man. Threw 3 tuds. A couple of awesome passes. I mean, the Pop Douglas is a great play on 4th and 1, but the booty ball, that is perfect that he makes an absolutely insane catch on. The Stephon Diggs catch, an incredible catch because that thing came in with some mustard on it. And it was perfectly spotted through 2 defenders. So as Drake Maye does he look like the way he does against the Jets in week 16, 17? No. But that's not what it's going to be in the playoffs. And all of these haters were saying, well, it's not going to be like that in the playoffs. You're not going to face defenses this bad. And then when he comes out pretty good in both of them and wins both the games, they're saying, oh, well, this guy can't do it against a good defense. This guy can't do it in the playoffs. He's going to get exposed. He's played the 2 worst games of the season, potentially, maybe outside of that Vegas game week 1, and they've won both of them. And he's still throwing twice as many touchdowns as interceptions. And an offensive line that's been battered and bruised and is getting beaten up quite a bit. Drake Maye is still making plays. So again, I ask, if you had Drake Maye in that 2024 Patriots team and that offense, that offensive line, that group of receivers in playoff games against top 10 defenses, would you take these numbers? I sure as heck would. Because again, the offensive line and the receivers, they're not that much different from last year. Will Campbell's a big difference on the offensive line, and he has been blown up in these first 2 games. Kayshon Boutte, better player. Stephon Diggs, that's the big difference. But it's not that far off from what you were dealing with last year for a team that won 4 games. Drake Maye has this team in the AFC Championship Game, and still people are looking for ways to tell you how bad he's been, that he's not ready for this, that this defense is carrying them, that the Patriots are lucky. Not even that the defense is carrying them, but that they're going up against bad quarterbacks. Justin Herbert was an MVP candidate until he played the Patriots, and now he stinks. C.J. Stroud was going to have a bounce-back game and go back to his rookie form, and then he plays the Patriots and gets his ass kicked, and suddenly he's not very good. And, it's going to, the Stidham thing, I don't think anyone's going to be hyping him up much this week, but that'll just give more ammo for the Patriots haters. Has Drake Maye been perfect? No. Has Drake Maye been great? Probably not. Has he been good? Yeah, he has. Yes, he has. He has been more than enough for the Patriots to get here to the AFC Championship Game, and he will need to play well once again for the Patriots to make the Super Bowl, which they are 1 win away from. And you could talk about the quarterbacks on the other side all you want, but if the Patriots go to the Super Bowl, that would mean that Drake Maye beat three top 10 defenses in football, 2 of them in the top 5. They played 1 top 10 defense, 2 top 10 defenses this year. They played Buffalo, who went in and out of the top 10, and Cleveland was the only other one they played in the regular season. And then he faces them in the playoffs, and we collectively, the nation, football fandom, we're looking for ways to bring this kid down and tell you he's not that good. I'm here to tell you he's that good. He is that good. He's not going to put up 5 touchdowns, but so far, absolutely so good. Let me know what you think about Drake Maye's postseason career so far through 2 games. Let me know in the comment section below. Be sure to like the video, subscribe to the channel. We come at you live on YouTube every weekday, 1 p.m. Eastern time, and then we're available wherever you get your podcasts as well. Your lunchtime alternative to Boston Sports Talk Radio, it's right here on the Wicked Boston Show with Cam Stewart. We're doing wall-to-wall Patriots, Broncos all week. Jarrett, Stidham, and the rest of the gang. By the way, before we get out of here, man, I'll talk about this tomorrow, I guess, too, but Jarrett Stidham just keeps popping up in my life, man. Just keeps popping up in my life. We overlapped at Baylor. His 1 year at Baylor was also my freshman year. We had 2 classes together. No big deal. Stuart, Stidham, near each other in the alphabet, near each other in the seating chart. And then 4 years later, after that, 4 years, because it's my senior year, gets drafted to be Tom Brady's replacement. And now 5-6 years after that, I guess 7 since he was drafted, he's now the stop between the Patriots and Super Bowl 60. I just can't get this kid out of my life. But here we go. I love it. Coming up this week. Yeah, we'll talk about Stid and Patriots Broncos all week long. We will see it tomorrow on another edition of the Wicked Boston Show.
Relax with Hemp Delicious. Organically grown hemp, massively blended with delicious organic herbs, responsibly sourced for their holistic benefits. Each sip offers calming, antioxidant-rich wellness. Brewed just for you. Sip the calm with Hemp Delicious.
At Open Goal USA, we're revolutionizing training for both soccer and lacrosse with our innovative portable rebounders. Perfect for players of all ages and skill levels. Visit OpenGOAAALUSA.com and elevate your training today.
Farmhounds offers natural treats and chews made with quality products that support family farm, regenerative agriculture, and humane farming practices. Give your dog the best with wholesome, organic ingredients that promote health and happiness. Shop now at farmhounds.com.
Get paid faster with Bill, the easiest way to send, receive, and manage your payments. No more delays, no more hassle. Whether you're a freelancer or a business, Bill makes payments seamless and secure, simple, fast, and reliable. Sign up today at Bill.com. We are Rogue Media Sports.